Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second annual Global Goddess Fest, a week-long virtual festival to inspire, activate, and connect female leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives worldwide. So today we have Tara Barchalk here. Thank you so much for being here. And she is tuning in from New South Wales, Australia. So we have a bit of a time difference here. As you can see, my screen is a little bit darker, and she's like, no. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And and so she's the creator of TerraFlow Yoga, and she's an international yoga teacher and Reiki practitioner who travels all around the world, sharing her passions and inspiring people to live with their passions and in confidence. And so she does workshops, really, really epic retreats all around the world, and work and classes and so much more. So I'm just so excited to have you here. And I want to just like dive in right away into how did you get into this sort of work, and how did you come to a place where you're creating these amazing events, the retreats. And if you look at yourself, if I look at you on social media, because we're actually old friends, like we've known each other for many years, and we both started our yoga path and our yoga journey at a similar time. And so as I was able to kind of sit back and watch you via social media, it just looks like you're living literally the most epic life. So like, how are you doing this?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's kind of surreal for me as well. I feel like I am definitely living out my dreams. And as you mentioned, way back when we first met, we were sort of starting our yoga journeys at the same time. And I just remember feeling like I was the smallest fish in the biggest sea. And I decided from the get-go that I was going to drop the word can't from my mind and my vocabulary, and that became a really empowering thing for me in my journey. So I just decided the only way I was going to move forward was to dive headfirst into things, and that meant just putting a retreat out there because that's what I wanted to do. And I figured if I wanted to travel the world and do yoga, then maybe other people would be crazy enough to do it with me, and they were, and it was amazing. So I sort of just put my first retreat out there thinking maybe it was a fluke, thinking that, maybe just a couple of my friends and their friends signed up and that's how it took off. But I kept putting retreats out there and I kept getting people to come. And I still don't really know if it's a testament to me as a person or my teachings or my personality, or if it's just by like this universal coincidence that people are like, yes, I've always wanted to go there. And, I just trust you. So, I guess it was really about myself getting past any blockages, or that word can't is a big one. So believing in myself and putting it out there, and it's just sort of clicked into place from there. And I definitely didn't just start with retreats. It's definitely my passion, and it's sort of what I'm known for now. But I did start with teaching yoga classes, and just little by little sort of figuring out who I am and how I'm teaching and what makes me me as a yoga teacher. And I think maybe just the fact that I'm just embracing who I am. We all have like a uniqueness about us that we have to embrace. And as a yoga teacher, I really try to let that come through. And I get asked all the time, hey, I really want to come to your retreat, but I don't think I'm very good at yoga. I'm like, yeah, well, neither am I. Like, we're all just where we are in this journey. And it doesn't matter how good you are or how not good you are. It's just about following your heart when you feel that call. And that's what I did when I started my retreats and my yoga classes. And here I am. So I've been leading retreats for 2.5 years, and I just finished my ninth international retreat last month, and still going strong. So it's been amazing.
Oh, it's so incredible and so inspiring. And I think it's really easy to have that word can't and as part of our vocabulary. And it becomes something that we don't even hear because it's just so regular and so normal. I'm sure a lot of women that are watching can relate. Um, and so was there like a moment, or like when did you make that decision, and like how did you come about like really deciding that that wasn't going to be a part of your vocabulary?
Yeah, well, I was in a really interesting place in my life when I first announced my first retreat. I was living in America, planning to move to Australia. I'd been through a year of absolute turmoil. Like, my mom had been really sick with cancer. I wasn't sure if she was going to survive. I'd been through a pretty rough breakup. Like, I was dating a guy that lived in Australia, which is why I'm here now. And life was just upside down on top of its head. And I just thought, you know what? Like, now is the time. Now is the time for change and transformation. And this can be the one thing that, if it fails, whatever, everything else in my life is crazy. But if it works, then it could totally transform my life. And it has. So I just took a big leap of faith and really just decided, like, look, life is crazy. You can either ride the wave and be a part of it, or you can, let it trample you. And I just didn't want to get stuck where I was, because I was in a place of fear, and I was in a place of, I don't know what's going to happen next. So I decided to make it work in my favor instead of have it work against me.
Mm. I love that. It's so awesome. And there's so many times where we're in our lowest lows when we have these sort of realizations and declarations and just say, all right, this is enough. Like, no more, we're moving on. And I think it's so powerful to be reminded of that, because usually when we're in that place, we're forgetting about how powerful it is.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things I can share that can be a powerful tool is starting to get in tune with that internal voice. And I had a yoga teacher a couple years ago say, give that internal voice a name. And she was joking that hers was Bob. And I really love that name. So mine is also Bob. And it's getting to know that internal voice. It's getting to know if that voice is coming out in the same repetitive ways. And for that word can't, like, understanding when that's coming up and then changing the script. So identifying that voice in your mind, giving it a persona, and then checking in with that. So checking in with Bob and going, why am I saying I can't do this? Or why am I being limiting? Or living in a place of fear or doubt, and changing that and flipping the script. So sometimes I write these down, and then I just switch out the can't to be something empowering. And then I hold that mantra for as long as I need to until I start to believe it. So I think that can be a really powerful tool that you can kind of keep at all times in your life. And it can be in, like, the most random moments. You just suddenly think, like, I'm going to be late for work. And then switching the script and going, well, no, I'm not going to be late for work. I'm going to get there right on time. And it's just the silliest little things, but it makes the biggest difference. It can really reroute your day, reroute your energy, and just give you that extra bit of confidence and belief.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And it's just so powerful, and it can bring so much more ease and play into our lives as well. So yeah, I think that's amazing. And so, like, as we're kind of in this theme of talking about the power of the mind, and connecting it, like, did you always see yourself doing this? Or was it kind of a new thing that you stumbled into?
Well, traveling was pretty new to me. I didn't start traveling until I was 21, and that was also a big leap of faith that I took. And I decided for myself after that first trip that if I could do it and other people want to do it, then they should be doing it. And so, um, I don't know if I always saw myself leading retreats, but I definitely saw myself being able to help people and to heal people. And that's sort of what these retreats have become. They're so much fun. There's a lot of room for just having good times and being on a vacation or a holiday. But it's also a big time for facing fears. I have people that come on these retreats that have never ever traveled before, and there's a lot that can happen in this space. And so when I started thinking about retreats, it felt right. It felt like I was going to be able to meet people and heal people, and give them this opportunity to flourish and grow. Traveling in a group is totally different to traveling alone, and there's just so many different moving pieces and parts, lots of different dynamics. And so getting people together in a group space and talking and sharing and learning about different cultures and sharing in that is truly one of a kind. You can't duplicate it. You can never get it back. And so these retreat experiences, they feel like family. And so I might not have always seen myself in that role, but from the very first retreat, I knew it was going to be something that I'd continue to do for the rest of my life. So I definitely see it now. I definitely manifest it now and visualize it. And I keep thinking that I'm going to put out a retreat and it's not going to fill up. And then, it's that word can't again. It's like, maybe this is, maybe I'm at the end of this, maybe I'm towards the finish line kind of thing. But then it all just aligns again. And I'm reaffirmed that I have to continue to work on dropping that word can't and really just being in this and thriving in it and living in it and trusting that this is where I'm meant to be.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's been the best journey of my life, and I've met so many incredible people. And even now I see people that have been on retreats with me still in touch from years ago, so friendships flourish from it, and it's just really beautiful for me to step back and witness all of that still happening even years later.
Mm-hmm. And how do you manage to organize it? Like you were saying, there's so many different moving pieces and people that are, just stepping into their own fear of just travel, let alone any other additional layers that you're bringing them into. So how do you manage all of these different energies and the organization behind it?
Yeah, well, I think I learned after my very first retreat that I have to go into it with no expectations, because every single person is different. Every group is going to be different. Every location is different. I've even been to a location before twice. So I've repeated locations before, and even that felt different. It felt like it couldn't even be compared. And so I go into it with no expectation. I honestly have to be super open-minded and super go with the flow. There's going to be days where people are tired or just need a little bit more space for what they're going through or dealing with, or there might be a super high energy in the group and all of a sudden we want to go for like a run and a surf. So it's sort of just being really in tune with my intuition and trusting what I feel each day, and really reading the group as well and honoring them because it's their time. So if I had plans like a massive hike or something and everyone's looking exhausted, then definitely have to be free enough to just sort of let things flow, which has been a lesson in my life as well, taking home what I've learned from that and letting my life flow in the same way and not forcing myself to do or not do things that don't feel right for me and my energy for the day. So it's been a huge learning lesson for me. And I think naturally I like to be an organized planning person. I'm a Capricorn, so it's sort of in my blood. And I think retreats for me, I just sort of tick off little bit by bit as I'm in the planning process, and depending on the location for where we're at gives me some idea of what the vibe is. So, if we're going to a surf town, of course we're going to go surfing. We're going to spend a lot of time in the ocean, and that all has a really watery element. Or, if we're going to be in the jungle, it's really earthy. And so it sort of, in a way, like creates itself. Again, I really rely on intuition and energy and just what I would want to do as a traveler in that space. And that's sort of what I offer to the group.
Amazing. What a beautiful example and embodiment of that, because I think we can be questioning ourselves a lot, especially when we have external people and situations that we're dealing with. And when you're managing all of it, being able to still hold on to that sense of intuition and flow and being able to create in the moment, it's just so powerful. And you can obviously tell that people are wanting more. They're like, wow, this is the magic. So anyone that's watching, you are invited. You're so lucky to be invited to receive 25% off any of her retreats, valid throughout the next year, so through 2019. So there'll be a link below where you can check out more of the retreats, where the next ones are going to be. Do you have any locations planned out right now for 2019 that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll have like a little share announcement, but also the very first retreat we have for 2019 is going to be in Sri Lanka, and we have 2 weeks happening. So May 4th through 10th and May 11th through 17th. And it's a beautiful space right on the ocean. We have the whole property to ourselves. It's going to be amazing. And then there will be another retreat or two at the towards the end of 2019, and it's either going to be New Zealand or Portugal. So I'm going to be announcing those very, very soon, which is super exciting. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but there is some news coming up for 2019.
Just leaving the trails of like sugar for everyone to follow. Just
Yeah,
take me
exactly.
wherever.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, for sharing a bit about what you do and how you do it with all of us, myself, and the viewers of the Global Goddess Fest. And thank you to all the viewers for coming, watching, and being inspired. So we'll see you all in the next video.
Yes, thank you.